video describes how to set up a course on ATutor. If you haven't already, set up an account by clicking on the Register tab and filling in your login information. Once your account is set up, log into ATutor through the Login tab. Once you're logged in, you'll be placed on the My Courses page. In the submenu above, click on Create Course. This displays the Properties page for a new course. You may need to request permission to create courses, in which case an administrator will approve your request. Then you can return here and fill in the properties for a course. So in this case, the only required field is the title for the course. Everything else is optional and can be modified once you enter the course. In this case, we are going to populate the course with some initial content. We have a backup from a previously created course that we're going to use to insert some initial content into this course. You can potentially upload a backup as well. We will select a icon, or if we happen to have an icon saved locally, we can upload our own custom icon, and then we'll press the Save button to set up the initial structure for this course. So as you can see, there's a number of tabs across the top, menu blocks down the side, and tools on the course homepage. So you want to customize these to set up the tools you're going to use in your course. So to do this, you click on the Manage tab, go to Course Tools. Here you see a list of all of the tools that are currently available on this system. If you've installed modules, they will appear here as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove all of the tools from the course homepage and actually keep the homepage for course announcements and other course-related information. And we're going to move the tools off onto another page called the Student Tools page. So the Student Tools page is available here. We're going to insert it as a main navigation tab, and then we save that. So as you can see, it sets up the tabs across the top. Student Tools is now available. You'll probably also want to manage the menu blocks down the left side of the page or the right side, depending on the theme you're using. So you click on the side menu link, choose from the available side menu tools that are available. So in this case, we're going to turn a few of them off, and perhaps we'll rearrange a couple others, move networking down a bit, and move content navigation up, and we'll save that. So now you can see we've got content at the top, networking, and so on down the side. We go home now. You see that all the tools are moved off the home page, and we're going to move them onto the Student Tools page. So in this case, no tools yet, so we'll go into Manage again, scroll down to Student Tools, and select the tools that we're going to use in this course. So in this case, we will select Tests and Surveys. Forms is already available as a tab. Groups we will use. Because we're using Tests and Surveys, we might as well turn on the gradebook. Networking is already available. Web search, and let's say directory and blogs. And we'll save that. So now if we go to the Student Tools page, you'll see that there are a number of different tools available. These tools can be rearranged by clicking and then dragging to arrange them in order of importance, for instance. If you prefer not to use the detailed view, which you're looking at now, it includes information from the various modules to give students direct access to information within these modules. You can choose to turn off the detailed view and have just icons. So in this case, we will turn it on and leave it on. So now that your tools are set up, you're going to want to make the course available to students to enroll in. Go to the Manage tab, scroll down to Course Properties. You can scroll down that page. Notice that this is the same page that was displayed when you originally created the course. We're going to set the course to private, and we'll click the checkbox to have an email sent to the instructor when an enrollment is made. In this case, we're going to make the course available immediately. You could potentially add a banner to the top of the home page, perhaps a splash page, some flash, whatever you like, and include a copyright notice if one is appropriate. So we'll save those properties. Now we want to add some students to the course, so there are a number of different ways we can do this. We can manually upload a file using the Enrollment Manager. In this case, this is the Enrollment Manager. There are no students available currently. So we can click on Import Course List, and this allows you to import a list of comma-separated values with first name, last name, and email for each of the students that you want to enroll in the course. Once that file is created, click on the Browse, select the file you want to import, and then click on Import Course List. And this will automatically set up your students and enroll them. The other option is to allow students to enroll themselves, and this is already set up by default by setting your course to private and the administrator allowing registration. So we'll look briefly at how that works. I'll log out, log in as a potential student. So you can see that this student is already enrolled in one course. You can then browse courses, choose the course that they want to enroll in, and this is the course I just created. It's a private course, so when I click on the title of the course as a student, I'm told that this is a private course and I must be enrolled, so I can request enrollment, and an email message is sent off to the instructor, who can then approve the enrollment through the course's Enrollment Manager. In this case, you can also set up the payments module to automatically enroll students in the course when they've made a payment either through PayPal or through the NeuroPay pay service. So I will log out again, log in as the instructor for the course, and approve that student's enrollment. Click on the Manage tab, click on Enrollment. Now you can see that under Pending Enrollments, the Demo 2 user has requested enrollment. So I should choose that user and click on Enroll. This sends an email off to the student with their enrollment information so they can log into the course. So now you can see that the student is enrolled. You can potentially set up assistance for a course as well by choosing a student user and promoting them to an assistant. So to do that, you select the user, click on Privileges, and you can grant them various instructor access to different tools within the course to assist you as the instructor in managing the course. So for instance, you may want to have a teaching assistant set up the content for the course, so we select Content. You also may want to have teaching assistants manage the tests for the course so that they can set up the tests and mark tests as well. So we will grant those two privileges to this user to set up an assistant for the course. You can potentially select them all as well if you wanted to create a second instructor for the course, for example. So we'll save that. So now that student is now not enrolled, but rather is listed as an assistant. And you can view the privileges for that assistant by choosing the user and clicking Privileges, and you can see that this particular user has content and test and survey privileges. So we'll log out again and take a look at content. So as an instructor, I have several different ways of adding content to my course. I can manually create content. This is an example of a simple content page. In this case, it's just text and images, but it can be just about anything that you can display over the internet. You can create the content manually by clicking on Add Top Page, for instance, or Add Sibling Page to create a sub-page for this particular one. So either one will do. So we'll click on Add Top Page, just as an example, and we will create a new page. My new page. You can use the editor down below to create some content. This content can be as simple or as complex as you like. If you have files available to insert into your content, you can open up the File Manager. Here you can see a list of the files that are available for this particular course. So we're going to insert a little flash movie. So I will choose that, click on the insert link, and that automatically inserts the media tag into my content. I can also choose to turn off the visual editor if I want to edit the HTML of the page and refine it further. So I will save that content, save, and now you can see that my content and my little bit of useless flash is inserted into the content of the page. So the other ways of creating content, you can import content in standardized formats. You can use the import-export content tool, in this case the export at the top. You can use to export your content to create backups or share your content or create packages to import into a content repository. Or you can import existing content into your course in those same formats, either as common cartridges or as IMS content packages. So we have a number of content packages already available. We'll get the URL to one of those. In this case, we've got several of the old ATutor how-to course content packages available. So we will grab one of these, say the Getting Started unit, copy the link location of that unit, and paste it into the import by URL field, and click on import. And that will add another Getting Started section to the course. The other possibility is backups. So under Manage, you can click on Backups. In this case, you would need to create a backup of this particular course, and we will quickly do that. Click on Create, enter a description for the backup if appropriate, otherwise just click on Create, and that generates a backup. For safekeeping, you can download this to a local system just in case something goes wrong. You've always got a copy of your course, or you can use it to restore the content into this course or another course. So in this case, we're going to take the backup we just created of the entire course, and we're going to restore the whole thing once again by selecting All and Restore, and it generates another copy of the course. You can see down here at on the left at the bottom of the content menu. So now we'll take a quick look at some of the other tools that are available under the Manage tab. You can post announcements. These announcements are posted to the course homepage. You can set up assignment Dropbox so that students can upload files into the file storage utility to drop off assignments. Backups you've seen, you can create new backups or upload existing ones. You can set up a chat to have online synchronous communication with your students, and keep a chat transcript to create a copy of the chat so that students can access it later. Other content tools, in addition to creating, importing, and exporting content, the tile repository allows you to search through a remote repository and import content from there, or export content to the repository. And you can also click on content usage to get some statistics about how students are using the content in the course. The course email tool allows you to send an email out to all of your students or a portion of the students in the course. If, for instance, you wanted to post a bulk email message, for instance, an announcement for the course. Course tools you've already seen. Course enrollment allows you to set up students in your course. The file manager allows you to upload files into the course that you can use as resources within your content. Forums, it's possible to set up forums. In this case, we'll set up a simple forum, and this can be used for communication within the course. So now we click on forums. You can see that there's a forum available, although there's no posts. In this case, we'll probably want to set up an initial post, so we click on new threads and enter a message. I don't know what the world will do for this demo. And we can subscribe to this particular forum thread, so when there are replies to it, we get the replies by email. So we'll post that. So now the forum is set up for this course. And we'll return to the Manage tab. Next we have frequently asked questions. Needs no description. Glossary items. You can enter glossary items for your content. If you're using tests and surveys, you can turn on the gradebook or manage grades through the gradebook module. If you're offering group activities within your course, you can use the groups tool to set up groups. You can set up polls to quickly survey your students, manage the properties of your course, which you've already seen, set up a reading list with various types of resources that students can access in addition to the content of the course. Review different statistics about your course, when students are logging in, how long they spend on pages, for instance. Student tools can be set up, which you've already been introduced to, and tests and surveys can be set up. So a quick look at tests and surveys. You can see in this case, we've got a bunch of different tests, each of which are duplicated because we started with a backup of a course and then we imported another backup of a course. So you can take a quick look at the tests now. In this case, we will just look briefly at the properties of the test. In this case, you've got the title of the course and no test description in this case. The number of attempts that are allowed, in this case it's set to unlimited, so students can take it as often as they want, or you can set it to a limited number of attempts. You can set it up so that it links to the course description on My Courses page, so students can access course or tests directly from My Courses. You can set up a course to be, or a test to be anonymous. If, for instance, you wanted to have a test created as a survey, you can set it up so that guests can also access a test or not, and various other information that can be used to set up properties for a test. At any time, you can click on the handbook link in the top right corner to see the documentation for whatever tool you happen to be using. So if you need more information on creating tests, you click on Edit Tests and Surveys up in the top right corner to get all the information you need. There's a link to other sections of a handbook as well in the top right corner, depending on where you happen to be within your course. So that's basically it. There are many other features that you can add into the course. The best way to learn about those features is to access the ATutor handbook. It is always available through a link in the footer. You can click on that. You'll see that there's basic user documentation, documentation for administrators, instructors, as well as for developers if you plan on developing new features for ATutor or perhaps designing a new module. You can also create a theme for ATutor to give it a new look. All of this information is available each ATutor distribution.